Hey everybody, this is Final Flame Productions here, back with another Terminator Dark Fate video. Today I want to talk about what's going to happen with Terminator 7. What will it be? Will there be a Terminator 7? The plans for the Tim Miller trilogy, or the Dark Fate trilogy, whatever you want to call it. This was talked about before the Dark Fate came out. Tim Miller and James Cameron, they said that a trilogy was planned, much like a trilogy was planned with Terminator Salvation and Genesis, but those never got made. The Dark Fate trilogy, Tim Miller says that and Cameron or Miller, I forget, I think both of them were saying it, before Dark Fate came out, they said that Dark Fate would stand alone as his own movie, but if it did well, that they had a second and third movie planned out, or at least some sort of concept of what those movies would be. But considering the box office worldwide total that Dark Fate has at the moment, it has around 255 million. It'll probably get some more by the end of its run, but not a whole lot more. It was made for just under 200 million, so that is not a good take. They're not going to get anywhere near doubling, never mind tripling the budget that you usually want to do when you're considering marketing and all that sort of stuff, and that's not included in some of these budgets. So Tim Miller was asked about what the plans for the trilogy were. He says here in the Digital Spy interview, Tim Miller says, "We originally talked about 3 movies in total. Over time it naturally fell into chunks, but it was all about that big fat story, the arc of these characters, and then it comes down to how do you divide up that pie into 3 movies. The opening weekend certainly makes the chances of it less bright, but we did structure it so I don't feel like the film feels incomplete in the same way that Terminator 2 didn't." So Tim Miller is pretty much saying here that because of the box office takings, there won't be a sequel to Dark Fate, and that seems pretty evident considering the backlash from fans and the poor box office takings. So what's going to happen? Tim Miller did say sort of when the word was getting out that this movie was probably going to flop, but not quite. In the storm of it that happened the past few weeks, he said that he wouldn't be making any further Terminator movies. I feel that was kind of like trying to get out of the Dodge before it got out of control, because he kind of knew it was going to flop, and he was trying to distance himself from any talks of future movies, because I don't get the impression he did say he didn't want to work with Cameron again. So even if this movie made a lot of money, he probably didn't want to make any more of these movies anyway, because him and Cameron didn't get on. So what does it mean for Terminator 7, or for what Terminator 7 will be? Will there be a Terminator 7? In my opinion, I think that there will be another Terminator movie. I think that the distance between Dark Fate and that next Terminator movie will be a lot longer than there was between Genesis and Dark Fate, because I think this is a big flop. I mean, Genesis didn't do that badly. I believe it made like 400, or between 400 and 450. I could be wrong in that, but I'm pretty sure it didn't do that badly. I mean, it underperformed, and it wasn't a great box office return for Genesis. But comparing Genesis's box office to Dark Fate, it's night and day. I'm sure they would have actually been thankful if they got another Genesis box office taking. So what happens? What will Terminator 7 be? If it isn't going to be a Dark Fate sequel, there's talk of it turning into a TV show, possibly sort of a 10-episode Netflix type thing. I think that might be the best route to go with Terminator. Maybe call it Skynet, maybe don't call it Terminator, sort of stay away from the Terminator branding, but let people know what it is. And I think away in a TV show, people will check it out probably, and maybe the people that don't want to go out and shell money for it in a cinema because they've been burned so many times. They might be more interested by a 10-episode, well-made series. If they don't go down the TV route, will they reboot again? Will they, ignore Dark Fate like Dark Fate, ignore Genesis like Genesis, ignore Salvation? I mean, it's a risky thing to do that so soon after Dark Fate. So, like, even 4 or 5 years down the line, is that too soon? Will people be any way more receptive or interested in a Terminator movie? I don't know. I personally think they should wait a while and make a TV show. If they're going to make a movie, I think it's got to be a future war movie. It's hard to know, but currently at the moment there won't be a Dark Fate sequel because the box office just isn't good, and Miller and Cameron don't seem to be on good terms either. Who knows? What do you think? What will Terminator 7 be? It's hard to know.